Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My fiancé, 21 male, proposed to me, 22 female, last August. My mom decided to host an engagement party and invite her side of the family. Her and Dad are divorced. Later, Dad and stepmom, A, asked to speak with my fiancé and I. A was upset about being left out of the celebration and not being treated equal to Mom. I apologized, reminded her I loved her like a mother, and explained to her that Mom arranged the party and we did not mean to hurt any feelings. A said if there is any chance of that happening again, to please not involve her in the first place. I asked her if she was sure. She said she was. After this, I kept A involved in the things I wanted her to be a part of. I can't involve Mom and A in the same things at the same time. The venue would be A's thing. This went well. We picked one, mostly together. In October, A asked when we should start dress shopping. I told her I already had a dress picked out. I went with my maid of honor before she left to study abroad, my mom and my sister a month earlier. I didn't invite A because she asked me not to tell her about things I wasn't involving her in, and I would have to pick between A and my mom, so I picked my mom. A sent me a message saying she couldn't be involved in the wedding anymore because it was too hurtful. I apologized. I visited in January and didn't speak to A. Dad gave me all my childhood Christmas ornaments. I apparently wasn't invited back. A week later, my dad asked me to apologize to A for not inviting her to go dress shopping. I told him I've been the one making peace and apologizing since I was a child. It is a pattern for A to blow things out of proportion and not take accountability for it. This is the first time I've decided not to be the peacemaker and left it to Dad and A to fix things. After I made it clear I wasn't going to apologize, Dad said, "I don't even want to go to your wedding because of this." Ouch. A month later, Dad asked us to meet and talk. I insisted we needed a counselor present so my side would be acknowledged. Before meeting, he set 8 rules I had to follow for him to be in the ceremony. 1. I can't treat A the way I've been treating her. 2. A will be at the wedding to support Dad. 3. It will only be the two of us walking down the aisle. 4. Mom and stepdad will not be up at the ceremony at the same time as Dad. 5. I must seat Dad away from Mom. 6. Dad will not include Mom in anything. If asked who gives away this bride, he'll respond, A and I do. 7. If I do not treat A with respect, Dad and A will leave as soon as the ceremony is over. 8. If I do not abide by these expectations, Dad will walk out during the ceremony. I told him I won't be following any of his rules for my wedding, so I understand if he chooses not to be a part of the ceremony. My aunt and cousin told me later that at Christmas, Dad and A told everyone I was cheating on my fiancé before he proposed. This statement is completely fictional. Yesterday, I asked Dad for his RSVP. He said he booked a vacation instead to celebrate Father's Day. That's rich. He's booked himself a vacation to celebrate Father's Day, while completely failing at being a father. Your dad and stepmom are only interested in having you in their lives on their terms, even when it comes to your wedding day. Not the a-hole for standing up to them, and have a wonderful wedding. May it and your life to come be drama-free without people who only want to use you to prop them up. Not the a-hole. A is delusional. Why would she be invited to the engagement party your mom threw? That makes no sense. Why would she be treated equal when you two don't have the same relationship? No. To assume she was going dress shopping with you instead of your mom? What the duck? Good for you for enforcing your boundaries with your dad. He doesn't get to make the conditions for your wedding. Oh, sweet child, not the a-hole. It's your wedding. You and fiancé determine what level of involvement anyone has. And you frankly complied with A's wishes, and she got butthurt that you weren't choosing her for everything. Also, and I hate to recommend this, because it gets thrown around far too often on Reddit, but consider going low contact with Dad and A. They are clearly trying to make this about them. And when and if you have kids, it's gonna get worse. You seem to be okay on setting boundaries. Just remember to stay strong once you do, and don't give in to the guilt trips or manipulations. Context. OP, me, female 28. Boyfriend, male 24. Marco, boyfriend's bio child, 2 years. Polo, boyfriend's ex's child, no relation to boyfriend. Baby mama, boyfriend's ex. the mother of Marco and Polo. I, OP, and boyfriend have only been seeing each other for only about 3 weeks, an admittedly short amount of time. The issue arises, however, with Polo, or the mother's expectations involving this child. Polo is baby mama's first son and belongs to a deadbeat who lives out of town and has never been in Polo's life. Boyfriend spent about 3 years in Polo's life as a male adult figure while in a relationship with baby mama. Since they've split, he only sees Polo if he happens to be with Marco. Last night, baby mama contacted boyfriend and just told him, "You're taking the boys tonight," and this upset him. He said he struggles to care for 2 children on his own, can't afford it. Confused, I asked, "I thought only Marco was yours." He confirmed only Marco was his, but he feels responsible for Polo as he was involved in his life from a young age. We discussed Polo's father, and I expressed my distaste for fathers who don't step up for their own children, saying something along the lines of, "Why does his dad get no responsibility? He should be feeling this obligation, not you." Boyfriend then told baby mama he will take Marco, absolutely, no issue, but said he's no longer going to be held responsible for Polo. Baby mama then basically said, "Cool, you're never seeing your son again," then made threats to call local childcare organizations and has been blasting him on Facebook, calling him a deadbeat dad. I'm a childless woman. I won't even begin to pretend I understand how complicated her situation must be. However, I am childless because I choose to be, meaning I've never just been like, "Oops, I guess I'm pregnant," and have always found it fairly easy to just not get knocked up. So I have little sympathy for this next detail. She's currently pregnant with a 3rd child from a 3rd baby daddy and has no idea who it is, and fully expects boyfriend to care for this new 3rd child, one conceived after they broke up by another man. It's clear to me that this woman will expect boyfriend to pay for and care for any child she has now or in the future because he's a good man. To her, it has nothing to do with who was there for Polo or Marco. It's who will pay the child support. I feel like my comment was the final straw. I'm worried I should have kept my mouth shut, but I genuinely was just making light conversation. I never said, "You should do XYZ." I also really hate that because he wouldn't take both children, he wasn't permitted to see his child. Am I the a-hole? Does everyone suck here? Should I have kept my comment to myself? Not the a-hole. Are you prepared for this drama long term? If not, run. Now. It won't stop. Not the a-hole. Your boyfriend could emotionally provide for Polo since he's been in his life, but his financial obligation is to Marco. I would advise your boyfriend to get a custody agreement in place. Everyone sucks here. As a girlfriend of 3 weeks, it really wasn't your place to question how he chooses to structure his family. He'd been a father figure to the little boy for 3 years. Withdrawing financial support and no longer seeing the boy who looked up to him as a dad so abruptly was an a-hole move on your boyfriend's part. If he wanted to step back, there were ways to do that more gradually or less confusingly to the poor kid. Obviously, the mom is the worst. 3 kids by 3 baby daddies and expect one to support them all is crazy. She doesn't seem like a responsible woman. I, 30, have 3 half-sisters, Katie, Evie, and Ella. Katie is 13, Evie is 11, and Ella is 9. My dad had Katie with his previous girlfriend, but she sadly passed away. Then he had Emma and me with his current wife. I've always liked Katie the most. I buy her expensive clothes and games and even take her on trips while I do not do the same for the others. It's not that I hate my other half-sisters. I simply have a better sibling bond with Katie. However, my stepmother, Merle, sees it as blatant favoritism, which is ironic coming from her. I've seen plenty of times when she chooses her children over Katie. The only difference is I have more money to burn, and she's financially struggling. Then there's my dad, who just doesn't care about any of this. The other day I was speaking to my dad about sending Katie to private school and even creating a college fund worth $200,000. But I was interrupted by my stepmother, who asked about her children. I knew what she meant, but I purely said that they weren't my problem, and if that is what she wanted, she would have to do it herself. This didn't sit well with her, and she began to rant about all the times I favored Katie over her children. She even went as low as to accuse me of R, as Katie is a different race from the others. To be honest, I simply laughed and pointed out that it would make her a hypocrite, considering she treated Katie the same way. She didn't like being called out and walked away. My dad had said he was disappointed in both of us and told me I could afford to do it for all 3, but reminded me it was my choice at the end of the day. I don't think I've done anything wrong, as it's my money and choice. Nevertheless, I haven't spoiled Katie excessively. It's simply because she deserves it academically. And I just wanted to make life a little fair for her, as she never had a good mother. Am I the a-hole or not? Not the a-hole, because you are not Katie's parent. I know I will get voted down for this, but I personally think the idea of favoritism only applies to the parents, because they are the only ones who are morally obligated to love and treat their children equally. You didn't bring Katie or your other half-siblings into this world. You have no real legal or moral obligation to take care of any of them. You have the right to develop whatever type of relationship you want to have with any of them. There are plenty of siblings who are not close. There are plenty of siblings who do not have relationships with each other. Based on your post, it does not seem like you have a desire to have a relationship with all your half-siblings, which is your right as a human being with your own feels and preferences. Not the a-hole. Your other half-sisters still have their own mother alive, while Katie just has you. Your money, your rules. So, you're mad at your stepmom for favoring her children. You see the difference in how Katie is being treated by her and believe it's wrong. So, you decided to do the same thing. Your money, you decide what to do with it. But get off your high horse. You're no better. Everyone sucks here. Edit. Also, what you're doing may breed resentment between Katie and her other siblings. You don't secretly want that at all, right? I, 40 female, am very much jealous of my husband's, 50 male, ex. Our relationship started with an affair. I know it was wrong. Their marriage was on the rocks and my husband wanted to end it. When she, 48 female, learned about the affair, she didn't scream or shout at me. She was rather calm. She only asked me if I truly loved her husband. I said yes. She told me that if I'm going to be a part of my husband's life, I better treat her kids, 19 female, 16 male, and 14 female, with respect, and not push them to accept me. She didn't even create any hassle in the divorce. Things were tough. My husband's parents and friends really criticized us, and his parents almost disowned him. If it wasn't for his ex, they would have went with it. But his ex convinced them to not cut us off. Their parents did forgive my husband, but I still feel like an outsider to them. But they do love our kid, 4 male. My husband's ex is very different. She never held a grudge against me, always pushed her kids to have a relationship with their dad. His oldest doesn't talk to him because of the divorce, and it always hurts my husband that his daughter wants nothing to do with him. The rest of them are good. They do not love me, but they are very civil. She never badmouthed me or called me a homewrecker. She did her best for the kids. She still tries her best so that her oldest daughter has a good relationship with her dad. I used to think she's a silly woman for not holding a grudge. She was always nice to me. When I was pregnant, she first congratulated me, and even though she wasn't invited to my baby shower, she sent me a diaper genie as a gift. I always felt guilty that I hurt such a pious woman. To make it more complicated, she's in a relationship with my cousin, 45 male. My parents love her. Uncle and aunt love her. Even my cousin's kids love her. She never discriminated between her kids and mine. She always sends some cookies or extra food for my son with her kids whenever it is their visitation time. She even met my son and treats him like her own. For the longest time, I wondered why she is like this. Is she trying to win her husband back? I even asked her why she doesn't hate me when I was her husband's mistress. She told me she doesn't see the point because whether or not she hates me, her marriage was over anyways. I am jealous of her. She is not just beautiful, but also graceful. I know I was very much younger than her when my husband started the affair, but I can say she is much more better looking than I am. Even if I took her place in her husband's life, but I can never be her. Edit. Yes, I like her a lot. She's an amazing human. I'm glad I don't have any ex-wife drama in my life. And yes, a part of that really makes me insecure because I keep trying to find a fault in her. Because even my own parents like her when she attended the family functions as my cousin's girlfriend. My cousin and her met each other a year ago when he was visiting me, and she came to drop off my kid along with hers. She sometimes invites my son to her house. That's why she herself dropped him off. I asked her to stay for dinner, and there my cousin and her hit it off and decided to date. That's pretty much it. She sounds like an incredible woman. I'm very impressed. Not only did she get rid of the cheater, but got a new boyfriend and is revered by everyone. Good for her. Maybe part of you thinks that if he can cheat and leave a beautiful, graceful, forgiving woman with whom he had built a life with, he will eventually leave his mistress, and it won't be as easy for you to pick up the pieces. You reap what you sow. Backstory. My parents didn't make great choices. My dad was married when I, 23 female, was born, but it wasn't to my bio mom. Yes, I was the result of an affair. His wife left him and he lived with my mom and I. Eventually, my mom got tired of his crap and kicked him out. Several years later, my dad and his ex-wife made amends, and they've been together since late 2000s. I refer to her as my stepmom because she's been in my life for as long as I can remember. As you can guess, my mom and her don't get along, and only do so because of the kids. There's 4 of us. My little bro and I lived with our mom until she married and moved out of town to live with her husband, 2018. We moved in with my dad and my stepmom in her parents' house. She inherited it after her mom passed and her dad remarried and moved. My stepmom is not wicked in any way. She welcomed us in her home and has taken care of us as if we're her own, despite the fact we're the other woman's children. Now, during this time, I went back to school and will be graduating with my associates in October. The graduating class is pretty big, so my director organizes a ceremony for just those in my program. It's supposed to be a catered event for students and family, but due to the virus, it has been made virtual. They asked students to choose one person to coat us to signify finishing the program. I'm a laboratory technician. That way they can put together a presentation. I chose my stepmom, mainly because of the reasons above, but because she did so without feeling the obligation to do so. I told my mom, and she got really hurt, tears and all. I explained I would have chosen her, but plane tickets last minute are expensive. Plus, she's coming in October for my big graduation. She asked why not choose other family members, and I told her why not. I feel my stepmom has helped me earn this degree as much as my parents, letting me live rent-free. I did help financially where I could, put a roof over my head, etc. My mom understands and agrees with me, but that didn't stop her from making me feel bad about it. Does your step run around with an S on her chest? That's some superwoman level adulting. Not only did wife, stepmom, take her cheating husband back, she accepted his multiple kids. So much so that she is being honored to take part in a grad ceremony. Way to go, Step. Not the a-hole. And what an awesome daughter they raised. Not the a-hole. Just because she's your stepmother doesn't mean she isn't a mother to you. I'm so glad that she treated you like her own and loved you just the same. She is your family too. Not the a-hole. Sounds like you have a great stepmother who does care about you, and it's nice that you want to appreciate her being in your life. It is also your choice whoever you decide would coat you, and your mom's a little childish for making you feel bad about it.